Hi everyone, we're gonna wait and give everyone just a couple of minutes or so to join our video. So I know sometimes our notifications can take a little while to get going, so I'm going to wait until we can get that notification out and we can have a couple of people join us. And once we've had a couple people join us, I will go ahead and introduce myself and talk about what we are doing today. So again, if you're watching, we're going to go ahead and wait just a minute or two so that we can have everyone have a chance to log on and get everything together, and then we will get started with today's activity. So I hope, as everyone's joining, I hope everyone's had a good day so far and is enjoying the weather. I know at least from the past couple of days, the weather here is a lot nicer than it was over the weekend. And so I've been enjoying the sunshine and the cool air. And I went for a walk with my dogs earlier, and they loved getting to get outside and all the new smells that are happening now that it's getting towards the end of April. So awesome. My friend Natalie is with us today in the comments, and so if you guys have any questions about our activity, or if you're wanting to learn more about Girl Scouts or camp or anything like that, she will be watching the comments to help you out. So my name is Alicia Nelson, and I am the Outdoor Experience Manager or Camp Director out at Camp Pisgah. We are part of Girl Scouts Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont, and I'm here today to teach you guys some cool new ways to paint and get outside at the same time. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be learning about nature paintbrushes. And so nature paintbrushes are a really great way to go out and maybe while you're on a walk with your friends or your family, or if you're like me and you take your dogs out every day, and as you're looking around, you see some cool leaves or sticks or grass or something that catches your eye that you think, wow, that could make a really cool pattern, or that could be really neat to see what it would do on paper. And so as you're walking around, and if you've already gathered things, that's great. You want to make sure, and we've talked about this before, one of the important things when we're in nature is that we want to try to leave everything in its place. And so as you're looking for things that can make cool nature paintbrushes, it's important that we're not picking live flowers or breaking live branches off of trees or anything like that. We want to use things that are already on the ground. And so when I went for my walk today, and as I'm sure a lot of people experienced, we had a pretty strong windstorm the other day, so I do have some live stuff with me because there's a lot more on the ground than there is normally. So I found this really cool leaf that I think is going to make a good pattern. I found some leaves. Some of them have some bends to them, and so I think that could make for something cool. I found another leaf that's a little bit longer that has a cool stem. I found this stick that has a really cool top to it. It almost kind of looks like a wand. I found a thicker stick that has kind of a Y at the top. I found a piece of bark that has some moss on one side, and then you can see it's just the bark on the other side. And then I picked and found some hay grass as well. And so those are going to be the things that I'm using today. So hopefully you can see I have a piece of paper taped up in the back. So once you found your things, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find some paint. And so I have a couple different colors today. I have blue, bright orange, and a green. And so once you've chosen your paint colors, you have two options. You can find a picture that you want to paint, or you can have an idea of a picture that you want to paint, or you can do some impressions and some stamping. So I like to first do some stamping to see what type of brush strokes I can get from my leaves. So the first one that I'm going to take is I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm just going to dip it into my paint. And after that, I'm going to take it onto my paper and see what type of impressions I can get. So as you can see, I'll move it backwards. Hopefully, as you can see, kind of as I move down, I was able to see more and more pronounced of that leaf. So that's my first one. Next, let's try one of our sticks and see how well one of our sticks can do. So sticks happen to be really good for writing out words. So I'm gonna have to get some more paint. Okay, so let me move it back for you guys again. All right, so there's my attempt at writing high with my paintbrushes. So one of the best things about this is, unlike when you're using brushes and you feel the need to have everything be perfect or really smooth, what I like about nature paintbrushes is everything is very natural, and so it can come out any way that you want to. And so for someone like me who has never really been a super artistic person, this is something that I have really enjoyed because it lets me use things around me to show off my artwork. So we're going to try some grass. So I'll move back again. So it looks like my grass makes some good strokes. And again, as you're doing this, you can use anything that you can find in nature. You can try some rocks out. Rocks make for some pretty good impressions. One of my favorite things to do is to take some rocks and to dip one side in paint. And then I like to lay my piece of paper flat on a surface. And if you take your rocks and drop them down from different heights, it'll make different splatter paints. And so it almost looks like you played paintball on a piece of paper. And so it makes for some really good artwork and some really good abstract things. Next, we're going to try out our piece of bark. Let's try it on the side that has some moss first and see what that does. And one thing you may need to do if you're finding that you're not getting the types of impressions that you want is if you have a second sheet of paper, you can take it and you can dab it off first. So right now, I'll bring you guys back again. So right now you can see there's my dabbing, and I'm going to flip you guys around and show you what I've had to do first to get all of this off. So right over here I have my piece of paper where I had to dab some extra paint off. So they can kind of almost both end up being their own form of artwork, but I definitely had to practice a little bit, especially with the leaf impressions, to get what I was going for. Another cool thing that you can do is if you use enough paint, you can actually use the paint to stick some of your leaves and things to the paper. And if you push back, the paint will come through, and so it almost has a shadow effect. So you can see there, I have the orange that's acting as the shadow, and if I leave that to dry, the leaves and whatever I use will actually stay stuck to the paper. And they make really good displays if you put them in a shadow box. So if you guys haven't seen a shadow box before, it's basically like a 3D picture frame. And you can mount something on the back, and then you can build other things within it. And so they make for really good memory keepsakes if you have different things that you're wanting to display, but they won't necessarily fit well on a shelf or anything like that. So the last thing I have is I have my leaf that has a bunch of different folds to it. So I'm going to try multiple colors on this one and see what that does. And this time I'm kind of just going to rub it on the paper and see what happens. So here's what it looks like to start with. And we're just going to take it and smash it onto the paper. There, that one you can see beforehand. And there I have some more abstract artwork. So again, this is one of my favorite things to do, and you can be as creative as you like with this. You can paint a picture, you can do impressions, you can do a combination of either one. One important thing to remember is, so we talked about how we don't want to pick any live plants or anything like that as we're on our walks to find our materials. It's also important, so I'm using non-toxic paint, but if you're using paint that's toxic or maybe has some chemicals or dyes in them, it's important that you don't want to put this back into nature. And so birds use these for nests sometimes, or different animals will snack on these, and different bugs. And so we don't want to be feeding them paint or anything else that's not natural. So go ahead and take those things to recycling and keep those there so that we're keeping the environment safe. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, my name is Alicia, and I'm with Girl Scouts Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont. This has been so much fun. I hope you guys are able to find some good ways to use nature to create some of your own projects. And feel free to ask us if you have any questions. You can reach out to us at info@girlscoutsp2p.org or call us at 800-672-2148. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you guys later tonight at 7. Bye.